people that I tend to feel as though I absorb the right information at the right stage of life, and I never really think to myself, oh, I wish I would have known this earlier. However, this subject in particular is one that if I had this video when I was 20 years old, I think it would have benefited me. So I'm making this exactly for people who are entering more of your professional life, and especially if you're an INTJ female, I think this will help you. If you'd like to talk to me more about this subject, you can book a video session with me below on Snap. All right, all you NT masterminds out there, I understand that it is a lot of times easier to stay in the background. I like to make things work. I like to be behind the scenes. I didn't want to get stuck in the drama or politics. I was always under the radar, and I was making things happen that pushed the company forward in a lot of different ways. And generally speaking, I've always been okay with not getting, in quote, like credit for my work, because at the end of the day, what was important was that the thing was, curated perfectly, and it wasn't about bringing attention to myself, and I didn't want to bring attention to myself. But after operating this way for many years, I came to the realization that if you don't advocate for yourself, nobody else is going to, because that job, more or less, is ultimately yours. 3 things that I would start doing now if you're entering the workforce, your professional life. All right, so number 1 is start taking credit for the impact that you are making. It's okay to say, I built this on my own. What I would tend to do is I would say, oh, we. I would use the word we often because I'm talking about the collective team. And then I realized, I was like, no, wait, I'm the only one that actually did any of this. I'm the only one that made this thing work. So it's okay to own it. You don't have to just push yourself in with the team dynamic because you are a part of a team. Own what's yours. This is an idea I had. I made this thing work. I produced this. Number 2 is to attach a value to your impact. If you're able to actually take what you did and assign a theoretical dollar value to it, let me tell you, that makes all the difference in the world, because people understand $5. We understand money, generally speaking, quite well. So when you're able to take the level of impact you have and assign a value to it, all of a sudden, you're making something more understandable to someone who perhaps doesn't totally know what your industry entails. Maybe they don't understand your role, and if it's a more technical role, they might not understand really what you do, right? And I found that happened to me quite often. As I was in charge of more technical projects, I was in charge of just a more complex set of work. When you are able to say, yeah, I did all this stuff, but listen, when I was able to create this item, right, this item in conjunction with this is going to produce on average this amount of dollars per year. Maybe you're taking on skills, or you have adopted a skill set that your company would have had to hire out for. That has a dollar value to it. Previously you were trying to recruit for this role, right? I integrated that into my job set, and now you were no longer having to look to pay someone $150K a year, right? So when you start to assign number and dollar value to the work and impact that you have, it becomes a lot easier to understand. And number 3 is that you need to learn to sit and just be okay with the fact that it is all right to be the best in the room at something. This again would make me feel uncomfortable. I don't know if it's because I'm a woman. I don't know if it was because of the impact was sometimes a lot greater than people would necessarily expect it to be. I've always adopted the mentality of, I don't want to be the best. I don't want to be elevated. I don't want to be noticed. But I don't get to decide that. You don't get to decide that you're not the best in the room at something, or if you're not elevated to a certain place, if you in fact are, because you've made the decisions and you've put in the work to get you there. You don't get to get up to the top of the mountain and be like, I just want to go down a few feet, right? No, you're up there. You have to be able to sit comfortably there. And this concept of being okay as the best in the room, this was really taught to me through poker. And don't take this lightly, because it was a really difficult and unexpected thing for me to have to learn to get through. So in the beginning of my poker career, I would get so uncomfortable having all of the chips in front of me, right? You get chips when you make good decisions. You're exploiting your opponents. You're being extremely disciplined. You are being extremely patient. And you do all the right things, right? You acquire the chips of the other players. That's how the game works. And I would feel so incredibly uncomfortable when here I am, just little old LiJo, sitting over here, surrounded by 7 men, and I have all of their money in front of me, right? These people are successful. They have businesses. They've sold businesses, right? They've probably done trades worth more than I've ever had in my bank account in my entire life. And here I am, with all the chips. And that, at times, would make me so uncomfortable that I actually ended up getting up and leaving because I was like, this is just too much. But then over time, this is what happened. I learned to be okay with the fact that I am allowed to be rewarded and recognized for making immensely difficult decisions and putting in more work than the people around me. I don't know if it's an NT thing, because when you are an NT person, you are more focused on these theoretical workings, and technically in job roles, those don't always align with roles that have traditionally been given to women. There's a lot of things that could go into why. And so that's really it. One is to start taking credit for the impact you're having. 2 is give a value to that impact to make it more understandable to people. And then 3, get all right being at the top. You worked your way to get there. You deserve to be there. No shame in the game. I put in the work. I worked harder. I did it better. This is what I got. That's it for this video. I will see you guys in my next one. I really hope this one helps you. Bye, internet friends.